Welcome to Relationship Renegades on Fun for Life Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Rachele Brooke Smith.
And I'm Emilio Palafox.
And today we have a super special guest
Yeah.
who my love Emilio is going to introduce.
Charles Butler, MD. He is a passionate physician, Olympian, and serial entrepreneur. He founded and currently runs a high-end jewelry company while still making time to practice medicine, along with NFTs, non-fungible tokens.
Which are so cool.
Now, before entering college, Charles was an Olympic athlete, competing in the 1998 Nagano Winter Olympic Games in the sport of ice dancing with his partner, Jessica Joseph. Now, since then, he has participated and participates in Olympic-sponsored projects with Special Olympics and Ronald McDonald House. Charles believes in charity and has organized numerous fundraisers and volunteered at free clinics to provide free medical care to those in need. Over the years, CBS This Morning, USA Today, ESPN, NBC, Sirius XM Doctor Radio, and Paramount Motion Pictures have featured Charles as an athlete, doctor, and innovator. We like to call him the dreamer, doctor, and diamond dealer. But Charles also spends countless hours researching and involving himself in diverse NFT communities and studying intensely the blockchain technology. And on today's show, specifically, we're going to be bridging these two worlds. We're going to be talking about your relationship to the online world, to the NFT world. And as more people spend more time online, we realize that the increasing importance of online identity. We spend our lives on online, so why not have an incredible online identity? So we're going to be talking about that, as well as community. So NFTs allow one to align with what suits their personality. I think that's very important to note. Also, in real life, one might own a certain outfit, a Rolex, a BMW, maybe even a Ferrari, let's say, but none of those translates to the digital world. This is where NFTs fit in. So in addition, there are utility NFTs, which is going to be important. We'll talk about it on today's episode. But this is where really Charles comes into play. His jewelry company, as well as Swanky Space Squad. And so we can't wait to dive deep into NFTs, blockchain technologies, the metaverse, Charles's company, and how this is all wrapped up in one. Thank you so much for joining the show, brother.
So Charles, so excited to have you on the show and to be able to talk about not only your incredible background and history of being an Olympian and a physician and a founder of an amazing jewelry company, but now as founder of this new NFT drop that we're really excited and passionate about and excited to help bring awareness to this, because I do think it is so cool. So for people listening who, like we said, a lot of people, like you just said, about 99% of the world still really doesn't know what an NFT is. Can you explain that in like layman's terms, as well as why you believe in it and why you're passionate, like so passionate about it that you created, probably invested so much of your own money, your time, your energy, your efforts into building Triple S and creating this beautiful community around it?
Absolutely. And that's a great question. And I think to start with, what exactly is an NFT? I think I want to go with something that is fungible first. So there's things in this world that are fungible and non-fungible. Something that is fungible is like a $10 bill. If I give you $10, you can give me back 10 singles or 2 5s or a different $10 bill, and it all has the same value. Money is fungible. Something that is not fungible would say like a Picasso painting. Well, there's only one of that specific thing. You know, if you wanted to look at a specific house, a mortgage, that is not fungible. Or think about a baseball stadium seat on a specific game and a specific time and location. Well, that is not fungible. Those things that are not fungible can also be turned into digital tokens. And what's cool about this is that I believe that the tokenization of future data and art and identity and objects will become very important to verifying what is what in the future and on the blockchain, especially when there's a lot of fraud in this world. So if, say, for instance, I wanted to forge your identity or open a credit card, in your identity. Well, I can steal your mail, fill out a form, send it in. And if I can go back to your mailbox, I'll have a credit card and boom, fraud. But if you have to be verified on a blockchain in a non-fungible token way. In other words, you have your own identity on that blockchain, and you have to connect your smart wallet to a specific institution, whether it be, Chase or Citi, or you pick your bank to request a credit card. Well, then someone can't just go grab your mail. I mean, they would have to do an enormous amount of hacking or phishing or somehow to get your identity on the blockchain from you. It just makes the hurdle so much higher. And that's just one reason I'm a big fan of, tokenization of data, because I feel like it's more secure than stealing mail from a mailbox. I mean, you can think about medical records. Maybe those are personal and private to people. Maybe you want to think about a will. If you don't want someone to modify your trust, your estate, your will, whatever it is, you can really do a good job by tokenizing that in a secure, encrypted way and putting it on the blockchain. And what's cool is if we combine what we think of as traditional NFTs today, where we have art, like a lot of people think about NFTs as kind of like a profile picture. Maybe someone has heard of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, for instance, but they're kind of a whole bunch of apes that are funny. And if you buy one, it's your representation of who you are, and you can put it as your profile picture on Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. You could actually go into maybe a future Facebook metaverse, hold a meeting with someone, and have your Bored Ape as your profile picture, which is cool. Some people may want to be represented as a ghost, or some people may want to be represented as a cool alien, or we see, the toads, the crypto gorillas. I mean, all this fun stuff, which is neat. And they kind of tie into community, which we'll go into in a second. But my point is if you have a non-fungible token, you can use that to represent you and all the data behind that. You could actually tie that into your bank account if you wanted. So, hey, this is me. I'm this Bored Ape. And if you really want payment for my mortgage, boom, push a button and it shoots that way. And it's all pretty much, at least to the very secure and encrypted. I hope that answered the question. It was a lot of data.
Yeah, no, that's a great start. And just because, a lot of our audience is mainstream, and like you said it yourself, right? There's about 99% of the population right now that still doesn't know about NFTs, these non-fungible tokens that you're speaking of. And we talked and referenced how it's on the blockchain and this and that. And I think the same thing goes with blockchain technology. We never want to assume anything. And so for those listeners who may not even know blockchain technology, what are maybe some highlights as to why, and you started to speak about them as well, but before we really go deep, why blockchain is not only happening now, is the future, but why it's really important to have that. I mean, you spoke about the security and all these things, but maybe just some quick highlights again before we dive deep, so we can kind of bridge that connection between NFTs and blockchain.
Yeah. And for our listeners, before you answer that question, I just want people listening to be like, wait, isn't this a relationship show?
Yeah.
Like, I just want everyone to kind of broaden their scope a little bit and realize that everything about this life is about relationship, right? It's our relationship to whatever it is. And I think a lot of people have a lot of fear around their relationship to change or their relationship to innovation, right? Like when the internet came out, everyone was kind of scared and they resisted. And then slowly but surely we had to evolve. And if you didn't evolve, where you kind of got left out. Yeah. And so we wanted to do this episode to really present an opportunity to really be aware of what's coming up for you when we're talking about this. Do you feel like you're afraid of it and you want to run away? Can you change your mindset and seek to understand and get curious about this world and learn about it and evolve with it and think about it as this fun new way of being and projects rather than some scary thing that's coming that you don't understand. You know, all you have to do is just continue to learn and grow and evolve. So just wanted to say that for our listeners.
Yeah. And if I can add something, love, just to piggyback off that too, because if you are a part of our tribe, and if you aren't, join us in Relationship Renegades, on Facebook or anywhere else on social media platforms. But I wanted to also bring up the change that you talked about, love, about, we speak about in our tribe a lot, how the change is not what causes suffering, because there's a lot of people, quote unquote, suffering when change is happening, whatever part of their life they're going through. But it's not the change that causes suffering, it's the resistance to change that causes suffering. And so we speak about this just because there's a lot of things that are constantly changing. The only constant is that there's change all the time. And I want to be able to also just add there that the change that is happening now, to just not fight it, right? Just kind of be the river, if you will. And I think life gets a lot easier with that. And so anyway, I just wanted to kind of add that as well.
But so back to that.
Back to
with this awareness, right?
Yeah.
This open-mindedness, this seeking to understand, this like, not fighting the river, but being the river. Explain to us the blockchain so that people that really don't understand it yet might be able to understand it better.
Sure. I think it's great. I think when you said relationship, I think that was such an important point, because a lot of people are still trying to figure out their in real life relationship to their digital life relationship. And that's very tricky. People are still figuring out, who am I in the digital world? Can I be a unicorn? Should I be just a version of myself? There are things you can go in New York City that have, I watched yesterday, it's like 270 Nikon cameras will scan you and put your real body in the metaverse if you want it. But I was thinking to myself, well, if I could go in the metaverse, do I really want to be me? Maybe I'd rather be something else for my digital identity, more fun, for instance, like why do I need another version of myself? So, but that's kind of continuing down a separate pathway we can discuss later. To go back to your question on the blockchain. So NFTs are stored on the blockchain. These digital tokens live on the blockchain. And so what is the blockchain? Well, there's many blockchains. There's a Bitcoin blockchain. There's Ethereum blockchain, Solana, HBAR. There's a ton of different blockchains, but all they kind of do in general is they package data and they put it on what a chain exists, like a chain of data strings, and it certifies it as this thing at this time, at this function happened here. That's all it is. It's taking data. Okay, Charles Butler signed his mortgage document last week for this address there, and boom, he owns that house. That is his house. Maybe there's people who play video games on really fast blockchains. KO1 shot player number 2, and this thing, boom, at this time, it is certified there, and he gets a level up. That was blockchain.
Yeah.
So the whole point about it is a great way to track data in a really logical way, as opposed to, if you look at a lot of database functions, they're kind of very two-dimensional. Like look at an Excel spreadsheet. It's really hard to kind of interpret what happened. I mean, by looking at it, it's just hard to gather. And blockchain is an easier way of pulling a lot of that data and storing it in a very secured way, because they're validated by nodes that are all over the world. In other words, if I were to knock down a huge part of Europe, it would not affect Bitcoin or Ethereum blockchain because there's so many redundant nodes. Whereas if I were to take out, say, a North Carolina data center, maybe Amazon Web Services, hope they have a backup, but you could lose all that data. The redundancy of the data, the security of the data, the ease of use with which you can pull that token data, that is kind of what the blockchain's about. In the end, it's just a bunch of computer coded software, but it's thought of as a blockchain because you're taking data and putting it in that chain of code, locking it in there permanently, and you can't erase it. You can erase the database. You can never get it stuck there forever. You cannot get rid of it. And that's kind of valuable in many situations.
Yeah, super valuable.
And security is so important these days, along with transparency and all this stuff. And for those reasons and more, I mean, everyone's going to the blockchain. And I think, just like we were saying before this, right? I think being comfortable with what's coming and what is now, I think we're just going to be in a better place. And also, I want to just kind of touch on too, relationship renegades and all of our tribe out there. We know the importance of showing up in person and connecting and building community in a tribe. And first and foremost, we always want to be able to be advocates of that. But when we're online, because we're in this digital technology world, when we're there, why not have a little fun? Why not be able to add some different things in there? And so that's what we're reading this about. So we don't want our audience to think about, well, we're always talking about, in person, the retreats coming up and all these things, but it's like, we're online regardless of whether we like it or not. And when we're on there, let's have a little fun with it, right?
Yeah, and I love that you brought up this aspect of fun, because I think a lot of times, even when I started first, hearing about NFT and blockchain and all this stuff, I honestly felt just so overwhelmed, and I was like, I don't want another thing, I'm having so many with just all the different social media platforms out there, and my job and our relation, family, friends, all this stuff, right? And then I had to really take a step back and be like, wait, I am looking at this in a very limited perspective when what if I could expand my mind and ask different questions, like how, this could be this really fun, creative, cool thing that allows you to connect with people in a new way. And like you said, I think the more we look at this new space in like, how creative can we become? How much fun can we have in our creativity and in playfulness, right? Like, how much fun could it be to literally be able to show up as a unicorn in this imaginary space and not take it so seriously? Because I think that's when all, maybe not such great things happen, is because when we take it so seriously, and because that's what people mainly do in their lives anyway. So I love that.
And why would someone want to create a metaverse that's identical to the real world? To me, that's like, no, use your imagination. You could do some cool stuff there. I see normal people on any Zoom call, FaceTime call. When I'm in the metaverse, I want to see their personality come out. I want to look at their heart in the metaverse. I don't want to look at their normal face. I'll do that on a FaceTime call.
Yeah.
Like, what's inside you? What's that creativity?
Right.
Here and shine. And when it comes to, we brought up the metaverse quite a bit. And I still think there's a lot of, people out there listening being like, okay, well, what is that exactly? Obviously, a lot of people know that Facebook changed their name to Meta, and people have talked about this metaverse for a long time. When I think of metaverse, I think of Ready Player One, ultimately, which, if you haven't seen that movie, it's a phenomenal film. And I think it brings up a lot of, really cool things that could possibly be in the future, but also a lot of things for us to be really aware of, so that we don't like destroy each other and like completely lose our sense of, humanness. So how would you explain the metaverse, and what do you see moving forward in the future with the metaverse, and what should people be aware of when it comes to that?
Sure, that's a really great question, and I think to answer it, I will three main points. First thing is that the metaverse really isn't well defined right now. So a lot of people define it as, hey, I put on these goggles, VR goggles, and I see 3D and I run around, similar to like a video game. Other people say, you know what, the goggles are horrible, get them off of me. The metaverse to me is me looking at a 2D screen, which is one of the reasons why 3D televisions failed, right? People didn't want to sit there for hours with goggles on their face. It's uncomfortable. So to me, I think the metaverse for now is going to be very much video game related on a 2D screen. And some of the hardcore guys will wear a headset, but let's be honest, you can't keep it on for that long or it's not comfortable. So today, I think with our limited ability to take those images and stick it on our face in a comfortable way, metaverse will be very much like this 2D screen. In the future, I think things like the Neuralink that Elon Musk is working on will be very important, because once you can put electrodes and put visual signals in your visual cortex directly, you can actually see three-dimensionally. Whether I put on 3D goggles on you, you're looking at a screen, the image comes to my eye, goes through my optic nerve, back to my back of my brain, comes around to my temporal lobes here, and implants into my brain, where I interpret that image. And if I'm looking at a video game and you have a 2D figure going chop, 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 karate chopping someone, right? What your brain is doing is actually taking that into a 3D idea of what you represent it as, because our thoughts, as visual as they may be, they come to us in a 3D world because that's what we're used to. That's why we dream in 3D. So whether I'm looking at a 2D screen or not, your brain will interpret it in a 3D way, which is why I think the glasses are a little ridiculous other than visual stimulation. But until we really get the electrodes into our brains, which will be coming in the future, I think that, we're not going to really experience the metaverse the way we really hope to. And maybe that'll be in 15 or 20 years. I can't imagine you and me as aliens, unicorns, battling it out in our brains in this metaverse plane. Very cool. So,
right?
Yeah.
I love it.
I hope that wasn't too far out there, but imagine that.
No, not at all. Yeah,
I think you have a gift of. No, I mean, I think you have a gift of providing information in a clear, concise, and an insightful message, and really disseminating it for the masses, which I think is very important. And you can really tell when someone does that, that if you're really knowledgeable about something, you can simplify it and really present. And I think you do such a great job about that. And if anybody's tuning in, you're listening to Relationship Renegades on Fun for Life Radio, where we're talking with Charles Butler, the dreamer, doctor, and diamond dealer.
And innovator.
And innovator, yes. And so, for those listening, if you aren't aware or been wanting to know more about NFTs, blockchain technology, metaverse, this is the episode to continue to listen to or watch some of our replays throughout the week. But I want to really start to dive deep now that we've kind of have a nice foundation, right? So Rachel and I are very transparent. We're open to the public. Everyone knows kind of what's happening in our lives and the things that we're doing to help and serve humanity, really co-creating a world where healthy relationships are the new norm. And most people know that we're getting married next month. And we're really excited about that, right? And, Charles here, I was introduced to Charles by my best man, who I highly respect and trust. And he was the one who referred me to Charles. And so when I was just, overwhelmed about the buying of an engagement ring, Charles came to the rescue. And so we've really, in all of our relationships, whether it be personal or professional, we're really big on long-term relationships, making sure that there's trust there, making sure that we add value, and making sure that they're just a great foundation. Because people are always wondering whether we're working or playing, and we're always doing both, and we want to make sure that all our relationships are sound. And so anyway, it's been nice and fantastic to continue that journey with you, Charles, especially when we got excited about the NFT project that you're working on, that is related not only to diamonds, but so much more. And so I can go on the list of everything that I've been learning and researching, but I'm going to just just ask the question. So you have an NFT project called the Swanky Space Squad. For those listening, say that 3 times fast. Swanky Space Squad. Swanky.
There should be a prize. Whoever does it best.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that. I love that you said that.
That's so awesome.
Whoever can say it the most times in 10 seconds, we're gonna have a special prize for them. It's coming.
That's pretty cool.
There you go. Very cool.
Love that.
It's a tongue twister, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Totally.
But the Triple S logo is pretty sick. I'm just gonna say that. Really cool. He's rocking shit right now. And
he's rocking some gear, but there's so much involved in this project. So for those listening, please tell us, let our audience know, what is Swanky Space Squad and why should they care about it? Why should they understand what it's all about?
Awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah. So I have been looking at NFTs for many, many, many months, and I realized that some of them were really awesome, cool pieces of art, but maybe there wasn't really asset value behind that art. And my biggest concern was, okay, I want to bring together the community and the identity part of online art, which I think is so important. But I also wanted to make sure that if someone was to buy my NFT, that it would be something that would guarantee them some kind of a real value, an intrinsic value in the world. So that's why I brought the jewelry company into play. So if someone were to say own a Swanky Space Squad NFT, and the only reason I can say that is because I've said it so many times, I've got
good.
If they own a Triple S NFT, then they get airdrop access certificates every 2 years that will give them access to fine jewelry at manufacturing pricing. Now, that's something that is really an industry first, because you've heard of wholesale pricing and retail pricing, but manufacturing pricing is specifically cost of materials plus labor. And that's it. There's no company margin, no markup, no nothing. And so if you own one of these, you can use one of those airdrop access certificates once every 2 years, just for one piece of jewelry, not like going nuts on the house here, but for one piece of jewelry, and purchase that jewelry at manufacturing pricing. Now, the reason we can do this is because each SSS NFT will sell for approximately $500 retail. And every time it is sold to someone else, we make an 8% margin on that sale. And our hope is that the intrinsic value will go up substantially. To give you an example, if you had invested a couple $100s into the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT a little over a year ago, today that would be approximately $750,000 worth. In other words, you could liquidate it and sell it right now, of NFTs, metaverse land, mutants, and other things that have come from that. So the whole idea is to take one of these NFTs and have it grow in value. So when someone says to me, "Oh, you want to be the next Bored Ape Yacht Club," I say, "No, I actually own part of that. I'm a huge fan of the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I don't want to be the next Bored Ape Yacht Club. We want to be the first Swanky Space Squad."
Yes.
So we want to combine that digital identity, that hey, this is my personality online. This is the community that comes with it, along with real asset value, so that someone has something tangible that they can say, look, this at worst case can get me jewelry, or that token is tradable. You can sell it to someone else who wants to buy an expensive engagement ring. They'll buy it from you because you're about to save them thousands of dollars. So you can do that marginal benefit analysis, sell it. People can buy it on the secondary market. If someone wanted to buy $100,000 piece of jewelry, and we can get it to them at manufacturing pricing for, say, $35,000 to $40,000, well, maybe they wouldn't mind spending $20,000 on a token to save them that money. That's the whole idea of trading access.
Totally.
Yeah, which is so cool. And I so love what you guys are doing with, and that's why, obviously you're on the show and we're super passionate and we're a part of Swanky Space Squad, because there's been, there are so many cool NFTs out there, but they don't necessarily have this real life utility attached to it, as well as a really high end community. And I think this is something that we were really passionate about, because like Emilio said at the beginning of the show, all of relationships is about creating really healthy, supportive, fully alive relationships of all kinds. And one of the most important things in life, I mean, if you want to have a healthy, happy life, is community, and to really connect with really high vibe, supportive people that are, really passionate about the work that they do in the world. And hopefully that work is really making this world a better place in whatever way, shape, or form. And so with Swanky Space Squad, when we were learning about it, we were talking to you about it. Some of the things that really got us being like, yeah, we want to be a part of this, was because it wasn't just like, it wasn't something that was just like, yeah, anybody can be a part of this. And because when that happens, we've been a part of, communities where it's like Facebook groups where just like anybody's in there, and there's just a bunch of stuff that like is not valuable. It doesn't chaotic. You're just like, why am I even spending time in here? Like it doesn't do anything for you. But there are those communities where people are, you have to be of a certain, doing things in the world and adding value to that community and sharing things that are helpful to people. Like you said, is really making this really like high vibe, high quality community, where if you're a part of Swanky Space Squad, that you could literally send a message in that community and pretty much get help with whatever you needed, whether that's from a doctor, from a lawyer, from an actress, from, whatever it is, which I just think is really cool. And, especially I think so many people now are in the entrepreneur space of just like, hey, if you need help with, business or entrepreneurship, like just have a community to be able to go to and to actually receive that help from is just so valuable.
And we hope that by Rachel saying that we're constantly telling our audience, Charles, right, that like to ask for help. There's so many people that's one of the things that people struggle with. They don't know how to ask for help. There may be some insecurity as to why, ask for help. There's some statistics out there that are very high about how men don't ask for help when they need help with certain things, because we think we can do it all our own. And by having a better relationship with ourselves, we can have a better relationship with our people in the community. So again, hopefully this is a friendly reminder to ask for help, but
to be a part of
and to be a part of a community that really resonates with you. And so since you brought that up, I'd love to just ask you, Charles, what is, because we're starting to get into it, what is some of the community members like? What are some of the people there to support the community? If you could, provide a little information on that.
Absolutely. No, that's a really excellent point, guys. I think that's to me, that's equally as important as the raw financial asset backing of this collection is the community, because if we have a strong community, it allows these people in that community to ask for help, like you said, and also learn how to better invest in themselves. And investing in yourself is probably the best ROI you'll ever get. And
Number
that's
one.
why you guys have this show, is to help people, get help and then invest in themselves. And that's also what our community is about. And our community is on a platform called Discord, and it's the Swanky Space Squad server. And we keep it's a gated community. In other words, we just don't allow everyone to come waltzing in, because unfortunately there's a lot of bad actors in the world, spammers, and oh my goodness, people who want to get close to someone to steal their information. So what we do is we have a very simple screening form where they fill it out, and it's not a guaranteed foolproof that only good people are coming in, but it is helpful. And it does make sure that those bots aren't in there, because there's a lot of bots that run around Discord parading as people and do automated things that are crazy. But so people fill out the application, and it usually takes hopefully less than a day to get someone approved. Once they join, in that community are a number of really awesome professionals, from doctors to lawyers to restaurateurs, people who've started 5 restaurants in the New York, New Jersey area from their own hands. It's really cool. We have people who've been, CEOs of company. We have sports athletes. We have an actress, which is really cool, and so we have a lot of people who have a lot of knowledge that want to help, not only just questions and maybe motivation, but also, let's say you needed a job, or you needed an idea of how to apply for medical school, or take the MCAT or the LSAT or any of these things. There's a lot of people in the community who've done that. And I think that type of knowledge and wisdom can help breed confidence when you're interacting with someone who's done what you want to do now and they've been successful. It helps you learn what you need to do to get there. So
yeah.
I love that. Important. I love that. And if you're just tuning in right now, you're listening to Relationship Renegades on Fun for Life Radio, where we're talking with Charles Butler and his NFT project, the Swanky Space Squad.
Oh, you see that?
I know. I'm going to get used to saying it 3 times fast here.
It's really fun.
And I think we were just talking about, I'm going to just do an acronym here, VIC. For those of you who can remember it, is value, identity, and community. Something that's great foundational pillars here at Triple S, Swanky Space Squad. And I love that this is a utility-backed NFT. A lot of people in the NFT world, right? Again, they're just like, they have some kind of picture, but it's not backed by any real-world assets. I think that is huge, and that can't be said enough with the manufactured pricing of jewelry and anything that they can buy, because we're buying earrings and rings and bracelets and necklaces and things of that nature. But why not save a lot of money, but then also get the community like we talked about, and then a cool identity in this online presence that we're talking about right now. So, I just wanted people to remember that acronym VIC.
I like
it. And as when he talks about that, a really cool identity, I'm curious to hear from you, because I thought it was also so cool that, I have a film coming out called Alien Country.
Right.
And we've kind of always talked about it. I'm like, even when we started dating and talking, we're like, feel like we're like aliens walking this earth, just kind of feeling a little bit different, or a little bit like out there, or liked different things maybe the normal, or like wanted to push boundaries, things like that, feeling this kind of like alien type of thing. So
hence Relationship Renegades.
Yeah. So and when so getting to be a part of the movie Alien Country, and then when I found out about Swanky Space Squad, also being these like really cool aliens. I'm just curious from you, like, out of all the different things that you could have done with an NFT project, why aliens, and why all the different types of aliens that you guys have? But I mean, they're super cool. Like, you definitely really need to go to the website just to like check them out.
Check them out right now. If you guys are listening, if you're in the kitchen or wherever you are, like swankyspacesquad.com, check out all of their collection that they have. And I think cool. We'll have to talk about later about the Genesis collection that's about to drop soon too. But
why aliens?
So why? Okay, so that's a great question. First of all, we wanted something different than what everyone else was doing, and we had seen all of these animals, if you name it, apes and toads, and now there's bears. All of these type of like mammals were being replicated in their own version. And the first thing I said is, I want to do something different. It'd be so easy to be the 10,000th ape collection. But there isn't really a nice looking, and I don't want to insult some of the alien projects that are out there, because they are successful in their own way, but a lot of them are kind of sketched, if you will, like Alien Friends is sketched. It's kind of like it's pencil drawn, and I think that's great. But I wanted to create a really nice 3D avatar of an alien that you could also have as your 3D avatar in the future metaverse, that you could walk around the metaverse in. I wanted to do something like that. And the reason I picked alien is because, first of all, it's out there. Like what you guys are saying, it's just like literally out of this world. And I thought that was fun. We talked about the fun factor, and it was different. So I had considered all of these different things. I even first thought maybe, hey, I would do like, say, flappers from the 1920s, you know, and then, you know, humans and things, but I'm like, nah, that's not out there enough. And the other thing is, I came up with a storyline literally in a dream, and these aliens are mining diamonds on their home planet, Gem Planet. They live on Gem Planet, they're mining diamonds, and they bring the diamonds back to Earth to use as currency. They swap it for cryptocurrency and fiat currency. And that's kind of like, was a fun storyline that I fell in love with. So it's just me coming up with a silly storyline. So
Yeah,
that's
I love
different
it.
and unique.
Totally.
Yeah, which we're all about. Literally, I've told Emilio before, like if I was to ever write a book, it'd be on creativity in itself. And I really believe that creativity is such a superpower. And, you know, every film, every book, anything that takes us out of the seriousness or the human tendency to take life so serious and to just be very mundane or on autopilot or going through the motions. I feel like this superpower that we all have of creativity allows us to expand on that and really be like, wait, like this could be so fun and so beautiful and so different. Like what cool new awesome thing could be created, and what joy and playfulness can come from that. And so I just really love all the creativity that went in that, and to be able to be like, I really want to identify as this really fun alien from another planet that gets to like wear this awesome jewelry. You know?
That's right. That's right. So maybe they will be their actual selves in the online space, because they're aliens.
There you go.
That's
but,
right.
I mean, I love the diversity of the collection. And so I'd love to really start talking about kind of the roadmap as to where we are now and where this is going, you know, in the short term and the near term, and what the vision is, just like any project. And, you know, I heard the Genesis collection. I want to know more about that. So can you speak to some of that roadmap and the collection?
Sure. No, that's absolutely a great idea to talk about. So first thing we're going to do is a Genesis collection, and that's going to be just 333 mints, which means 333 Genesis NFTs. And it's really very heavily subscribed, and we love all the people coming. It's kind of like for people who are really dedicated and a long-term holder of this project. What we're trying to discourage is people who want to just buy it and sell it, right, and just flip it. Because what we want to do is establish a community that will help continue to support each other. So people who buy one of these Genesis editions will have first dibs on the larger collection that we're going to come up with. And in addition, they're going to get a special skinned and special eyed alien, kind of like a really unique version of what we're building. So the art will be unique. They'll have like first in line perks for the next collection. And the other thing is it's so small, like 333 is so small. And you think about it, that's less people than that would live in one skyscraper in New York City by far. Just that in the entire world full of billions of people, I think will create that excitement of, hey, I own something of a very small, tiny piece. Like it's very valuable because there's only going to be one Genesis. So it's like very limited edition. So we're excited to do that for the first initial and what we hope are the most committed people to our future vision. After that, we're going to launch with a larger collection. And then we're going to immediately airdrop the airdrop access certificates. And when I say immediately, within 30 days. And that's really actually very fast as far as execution is concerned, because we want to make sure we got all the wallets set up and everything, you know, is secure from a technology standpoint to all the new owners. We'll airdrop that jewelry access certificate. Now, immediately they have tangible value. So if they just buy, say, for instance, one piece of jewelry, they'll probably have made their money back and saved it for the whole investment, and yet still make money in the future. After that, we want to do cool things like a swanky sneaker, like maybe a swanky sneaker in the metaverse and then in real life. and we'd like to do a collab with maybe a big fashion company for that. And I'm not saying more, but we're exploring different collaborations to come out with a Swanky sneaker. We want to establish ourselves in the metaverse. I own land in the Yuga Labs metaverse, that we will have the software development kit, so we can go ahead and in the other side create land there. In fact, we could also do it in the Sandbox or in Decentraland, but we want people to own our characters wherever they are in the digital world. So if you're popping up in Facebook's Meta in a meeting, maybe your alien's going to walk into the boardroom, plop on down with his style and say, "What's up, guys?" As opposed to you, and it could be really cool. So
yeah, that's super cool. That's super cool. And when you said, like for people listening, right, that you're like, yeah, you own land in this particular metaverse and there's different kinds of spaces where people can buy land. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think some people are still, maybe unsure what that even means or what that looks like.
Yeah, that's exactly. Really good question. So I think, to kind of make an analogy, someone once said buying land in the metaverse now is like buying land in New York City in the 1970s. Now, I'll tell you what, I agree that it's unique, but I disagree in the fact that you can create many metaverses. You can only create one New York City. I mean, so to me, I think the analogy was a little off. And I want people to think about that when they rush to buy land in one metaverse today. That may not be the dominant metaverse in the future. I do think there will be a metaverse in the future that is dominant and will develop and will be successful, similar to like the way Facebook dominated MySpace and Instagram. So people will go to a really successful platform, and everyone wants to run to TikTok. I can't think of another one that's really competing that well for that genre as TikTok. Instagram's great at what it does, and Facebook's great at what it does. There will be a metaverse in the future that will be probably the preeminent number one metaverse. And when that emerges, that's when I think, okay, that might be New York City. But right now, there's so many different metaverses struggling to be New York City in the 1920s. I don't know which one's going to end up being Paris, or which one may end up being, a less fortunate city, or which one's going to be New York. So I kind of tell people, don't go nuts and buy a bunch of land now, because you don't know where the winner's at. And you've seen Nike and even JP Morgan Chase and like that auction house. I forget. So silly, because they do a lot of jewelry. But people, big companies are buying lands in the metaverse right now, and they're betting on one platform. I think that's a huge mistake, because they don't know which one's going to win. Wouldn't you feel silly if you bought $10 million of virtual land and then it wasn't the cool one? For the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, thank you for explaining that. I just felt like that was important for the audience to know.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a big part of the online experience. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Fun for Life, Relationship Renegades on Fun for Life Radio. We're talking with Charles Butler and the NFT project Swanky Space Squad, and really and the benefits that come from that, which is not only value with getting jewelry at manufactured pricing, having some great identity in the online space that we've been talking about. You guys got to check out the aliens, but also the community. Now, in addition to the community they get access to, Charles, and having jewelry at manufactured pricing, are there any other benefits that we haven't talked about, and any other perks that purchasing and holding an NFT would get them access to?
Especially this NFT. Yeah.
Sure. So one of the reasons why people buy NFTs, aside from, say, any value proposition or any community proposition, is people just like to have and show off nice things. It's the same reason why people would buy a nice dress to go out in, or buy a nice watch, or buy a nice car, or whatever else they want to do, or they comb their hair nice. They put on makeup. People want to look nice in real world. It's a way of representing who they are. And in general, when people have nice things, it makes them feel good. We all like to think that we're very, we could all live in the sticks with no air conditioning and no night. But in reality, it's nice to have nice things. Everyone, it's, and so having a nice NFT helps in the digital world. For instance, like if I were to have a nice watch, well, no one's going to know that in the digital world. But when you see people who own like a top tier, like a Bored Ape, and you say, oh my goodness, that Bored Ape is $300,000, $400,000, suddenly what happens is it transforms their online presence. People come in droves to follow them on their social media, to hear what they have to say. They assume they're successful, even if they were just lucky and bought it at the right time and held on to it. So our goal is to establish our real intrinsic value, watch it grow over time. My goal isn't to have it suddenly moon rocket in one day and come crashing down the next, but to build real value and have people say, oh, I own that. I'm part of this community and I'm proud to show off. This is who I am as my profile picture on Twitter, on Instagram. A lot of people you'll see on Twitter have those hexagon shapes, which show off that they own that. You connect your blockchain to Twitter and it pulls up your profile picture. I can show you mine, for instance, which is very interesting. And I'm switching. Once people ask me, how come you don't have a Swanky Space Squad as your profile picture? And the reason I don't is because it hasn't minted yet. So it's not on the blockchain. Once it actually exists, then I'm going to swap this for that one. And this is a mutant ape, and you can see how it has a hexagon there.
Oh, yeah.
That's different. That means that I verified I'm the owner of it. And here's what the guy looks like.
That is incredible.
Cool.
And
he just showed his pictures of it, and it is really cool. So if you want to see the visual, you got to check it out on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's cool. And it's a way of showing your identity. You know, it's kind of like some people call it a flex. Hey, look at me. I got profile pics. I belong to this tribe, that tribe, and bears and apes and aliens. And it's really neat. That's part of the identity thing. And we want to be a more professional, successful. You come with us and we're going to help each other and we're going to make this happen. We're not about some groups have their own goals. We're not about we're not the Stoner Ape Club. Listen, I'm pro whatever people want to do, but we're not just a bunch of people sitting around smoking weed, watching movies all day. Maybe some of us might be, but that's not our identity. We don't identify as the Stoners. We're trying to be more professional.
Yeah, I love that too. You know, like you had talked about, to give a space for professionals who want to identify as, you know, like a group of people who are doing really incredible things and working really hard and supporting each other, right? Because it's just like we're not saying one is good or bad or better than the other. It's just like, what does your soul resonate with, and who do you want to be? How do you want to show up in the world? What do you want to be remembered as? And whatever you choose, awesome. This is just an opportunity, I think, for people who want to identify as, hey, I work really hard. I'm up to really big things. I'm around really awesome people that all support each other and are also working really hard and doing big things in the world.
So we really want to give people who want to rock our Swanky Space Squad profile picture a way to identify with a group of professionals, because we consider ourselves to be professionals, lawyers, doctors, even motivated students, someone who wants to make a difference in the world, as opposed to, say, other groups that may identify with, specifically maybe car racing or smoking pot. I mean, they have different groups for every specific category. Our specific goal is professionalism, motivated, improve ourselves.
Yeah, which I love so much. And I'm just so grateful that you're creating that space, because I think it's really important to have that kind of space, especially in the NFT world, when there are so many other spaces for people. And we're not saying that one is good or bad or better than the other. It's just kind of, what does your soul resonate with, and how do you want to show up in the world? How do you want to be seen as? How do you want to be remembered as? And I think for the people, exactly why we're here and why we're talking about this is because obviously we identify as people who work really hard, who want to do really great things in the world, who want to help people, who want to, who are motivated and want to motivate other people. And, to give a space and a community and a support group for that, and to just be able to have a really cool piece of art that represents that and a place for that. So, and I really want people to hear that, because we're all about taking off judgments of things. I think there's a lot of people that are like, oh, one is good and one is bad. And we really don't like to look at things like that. It's just what is, there really isn't, like, we label everything and we have all these judgments of what is good or what is bad. But in reality, it's just like, it's your life. What do you want to be remembered as? What kind of experience do you want to have here? And, but I, again, just really love that this space, particularly the Triple S space, is for anyone who's super motivated, who wants to, help each other out, who wants to do really big things in the world. And so, I just think that's really, really cool. And also coming from someone, the founder, who has done so much in your life. And, you know, as we kind of wrap up this episode, I would love to just acknowledge you, you know, that in your innovation, in your life and in your career, as a previous Olympian, into a doctor, into, you know, creating your own jewelry company, into innovating this incredible NFT company. You know, I just really want to acknowledge that, and hope that it also inspires people who are listening, that no matter, I think we all can have so many different chapters of life. And, you know, this whole episode is about your relationship to, you know, not only the NFT and the online world space, but also your relationship to change, your relationship to evolving and to growing. And I just think you're such an amazing example of that, from all the different chapters of life that you've lived. You know, some people, you know, maybe after they had success in their life, or they did one thing, you know, maybe, and, you know, they competed in the Olympics, would probably be like, oh, my life is over, I don't know where to go from here, fall into a depression and just kind of like not really do much else. When there's so much more that could be out there for you. And then, you know, for your example, went into like, oh, I'm going to go learn about medicine and become a doctor. And then from there, like, oh, I'm really interested in jewelry, so I'm going to create a jewelry company. And
Constant
you know,
reinvention.
yeah, I really just hope that it inspires people listening, that like there is no there. Like there is no there that you're going to get to. It's always about this constant evolving and growing and learning. And you know, I think a lot of this episode is about curiosity, you know, like getting curious instead of getting fearful and running away. It's just seeking to understand this new space and the new technology and how we're evolving.
Yeah.
And I just love, you know, we always love to wrap up the show with the renegade moment. And it doesn't have to be the very end of the show, but I really would love to just hear from you, because of your story and because of everything that you've been through. I would love to know, and this renegade moment is really important. It's always one of my favorite questions, is what was a moment for you that was that renegade moment where you were like, you know what, enough is enough. I'm done. I'm going to choose differently. I'm going to think differently. I'm going to be a renegade. What was a renegade moment that you would like to share with our audience?
Sure. And first of all, thank you for all those kind words. You had me blushing here. Very nice. So, I think for me, the renegade moment happened when I was 18 years old, and I was training for the Olympic Games. And I realized two things in my life. One, that the key for my personal happiness was hope, that I would hope that my future would be better than the past. Because if you don't have a better future than your past, that can create a lot of sadness. And the second thing is, how would I do that? And that's when I realized that teamwork and the people that I surround myself with are the keys to the kingdom as far as accomplishing any goal I might have. So whenever I have a success or graduate from medical school or start a successful company, it wasn't me. It was actually a whole team that helped me. You know, so the teammates I chose to help me study, to do well on the exam, the people I chose to build a team to start a company, my teammates and coach in the Olympic Games, the team that I'm picking for this project now. The key that I realized was, and this is my renegade moment, thank God I had it as a teenager, but was realizing that creating the right team and selecting the right people to help me achieve my hopes and dreams would bring me happiness. And to that end, there's nothing I think that anyone can't do if they can have just the right team behind them.
I love that you said that. And thank you so much for sharing that, Charles, because I forget who said it, but there's a quote out there that says, you know, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And so we hope that everyone listening that, who's your team? Who are you choosing to be your team, both personally and professionally? You know, it's the whole thing of, you know, you are the 5 people that you surround yourself with, both financially as well as energetically, and the way that you show up in the world, and now the online space. And so, no, I appreciate the renegade moment there.
Thank you.
You know, one of the things that you had mentioned right before the renegade moment was minting. And because we want to be able to give our listeners the brand new, fresh perspective on the things that are happening now and to come, you know, these aliens will be minted, the Swanky Space Squad. can you let our listeners know what that means and when they should be on the lookout for it, and how can they purchase one if they're interested, and where and when and all that good stuff?
Oh, that's great. So thank you for that. I think, well, for the Genesis edition, it's very exclusive. If someone is interested, they should go to our website, join the Discord, fill out the application. We would welcome anyone on your show. And there's a limited edition. We can't promise a Swanky Space Squad Genesis edition to everyone, but we want to make sure that the right people have them. And that's important. And I think if someone's motivated and wants to contribute the way we all hope that they will, we would welcome them. So if they come into the Discord, we can answer a lot of the questions for them. We have 24/7 moderation. In other words, anytime, day or night, you can ask a question in that Discord and it will be answered. There's someone there to answer, because there's people all over the world who want to join the Swanky Space Squad. So whether you're in Japan, Australia, or Florida, come into the Discord, can ask any questions, and all of those things we'll make sure are sorted out for whoever it is that wants one.
Mm-hmm.
And can you just say the website as well as the Discord? Like, what's the best way for people to obviously download the Discord app, but also go to?
Sure. So the easiest way would be for them to go to swankyspacesquad.com. And then in there is a link. They can just click on it to join the Discord, and it will prompt you if you don't have Discord to download the app, and it'll just get you right in there. If you do have it, it'll boot you right into the verify page, where you just click the thing to go ahead and enter the application. And the two things that we have, the two questions are, one, who referred you? You can just say Relationship Renegades if you're listening. And two, you can we just want to know what you want to bring to the community. We want to know that your intentions are good and pure, and we don't want a whole bunch of spammers in there. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll welcome you in. And from that community, we'll do our best to select the people that are most appropriate for the Genesis collection.
Awesome.
I love that. And if you're excited about NFTs, or maybe you've been looking at NFTs for a little bit, or now you're about to go start looking at them now, we hope that we invite you to obviously look at Swanky Space Squad for all the reasons we mentioned on this show. But whether it's this one or anything else, I would just say to be careful, because there are a lot of scammers out there. There's a lot of fluff, and especially not a lot of real backed assets like we talked about on this show. So whatever you end up choosing, definitely do some research and due diligence, and just be careful. I think it's a pretty grand percentage. I don't even know if we want to put a percentage. I just want to be able to tell our listeners to be careful. There are some great ones out there, but there's also not a lot of great ones out there. I don't know if there's a way that you would present that, Charles, and how to maybe guide people in the right way.
That's such a great topic.
Yeah. How would you kind of present that to the audience?
So there's two ways to really get scammed in the NFT world. The first is what they call a rug pull, and that's where the founders.
Wait, hold on one second. Rachel, wait, what happened?
It did it again. Sorry, we've never
ever had this problem.
I don't know why it's doing that. Luckily, I catch it pretty fast.
Yeah, because Rachel always keeps an eye on
it. That's good. Yeah, you got good peripheral vision.
Rachel literally just kind of scans it every once in a while.
Just a lot of fluff.
And I've told her you should be good to not do that, but she keeps doing that, and I'm glad she's doing it now.
So whatever you end up choosing, definitely do some research and due diligence, and just be careful. I think it's a pretty grand percentage.
Yeah.
Okay. Babe, you are so awesome on having that eye. So I know. Okay, so we basically just left off here. So
just re-ask
Richard. Yeah. So
question.
Obviously, edit this out, Richard.
And okay, hold on 1 second. Wow. So just save this one, babe. First and foremost. While she's saving this one, just to make sure everything's good, because we've captured everything, we just want to make sure that it's all saved so far before we ask this question and conclude.
Oh, sure, yeah.
How are we doing on time for you, Charles, just to check with you?
Good. No, I got about another 10 minutes, I would say. And then I get to give the baby the bottle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that she's 11 months old, and she doesn't understand if her bottle doesn't come on time. She doesn't care what I'm doing. She wants
good. Yeah. Is she just in the other room right now, or?
Yeah, she's diagonal that way.
Yeah.
Downstairs. So, but yeah, the home office is upstairs, but I can hear a little bit over there. She's
Yeah.
very
Well, that's
cute.
good. She's been a good baby so far.
She's been very good. She's
Man.
for the most part a very well behaved. I'm very lucky. So
Yeah, that's how one of my actually Brett. So yeah, you obviously know Brett. And so Logan is another great baby. Like Logan hardly cries for everything. Every time we go visit him, he's just a happy baby.
yeah. Same with Mary. She's very happy.
Yeah,
So,
my sister. I mean, now it's fine because he's 4 years old. My nephew, her first son, but for the first 2 years, or for the first year, was just so bad, terrible. Like never slept at all, always crying. It was just not the happy baby. Now he's awesome and everything's good, but and she's about to have her second one coming up in like third week of October.
oh,
So
wow.
yeah, they're excited about that.
Oh, that is cool. That is
Yeah.
really cool. I like the art behind you. It looks nice.
Yeah, we're in a, it's interesting. When we used to live in Santa Monica, we had our own studio and everything, but it's been a challenging finding the right place and lighting, as we've been digital nomads for almost a year now. Next month will be a whole year that we've been doing this.
Wow.
But yeah, luckily the lighting and natural lights over there for the window.
Yeah, it looks nice. It looks very nice in the record. It looks like a nice backdrop. So
Yeah, thank you.
That is really cool.
Let me check.
Almost ready. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, you're
No
good.
worries. I hope I've been talking loud enough. I purposely
You've been great.
Yeah, we've been checking that as well.
I've been purposely talking loud. I hope I'm not screaming either. So,
No, you've been actually really good. There's some that are either on either spectrum.
right.
Okay, that should.
And I'm glad we just have a producer, obviously, for all this stuff that like just makes sure that everything's, the finishing touches is all quality and everything's smooth, and it's awesome.
Okay, we should be good now.
Okay, you want to just delete that last little, just that last little?
No, it's okay because
cool.
I don't want to chance anything. Okay.
Okay, wait. Which question did I ask? I was talking about the
Just re-ask the mint
The
question.
security, I think the security, or was it security?
No, it was the
Oh,
security.
you're right.
The
Security.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah, be
So
careful.
what
Yeah.
Okay, ready and.
Okay. All right. Well, before we conclude the episode, I think it's very important that we talk about this too, Charles, because I've seen this when I'm doing research, for the past year or so, as well as in communities talking about this. But in the NFT world, there's a lot of scammers out there, right? So I want to warn our audience just to be careful. I want them to do their research and due diligence. Obviously, we've talked about the integrity and so many great things about Swanky Space Squad. But whether it's this and or anything else that people are now diving into the NFT world, what would be the way to present that to the audience in terms of being careful and due diligence? How would you present that to our audience?
Sure, that's a really great and important question. So there are scammers everywhere who want to take your money, especially in NFTs and blockchain. There's two major ways that they can do this. The first is if they have their own NFT project that is a scam project. In other words, they lie about what it is. It may or may not come with the art they said it is or any utility they said it is. And typically that comes from what they call undoxed or undocumented people, where they hide behind a pseudonym and they don't give you their real name. Like for me, my real name, you can find my real business. I'm a real human. It's easy to see that it would be more legitimate than if my name were Mr. Hot Dog from somewhere in the world, and you don't know,
Right.
but those are the people who will
Totally.
run a project and people give them money. So that's called a rug pull, and they'll basically take your money for the mint, and then they just run with your money, and that's it. You get nothing in return. The second type of scam that is more frequent is where they try to do phishing scams. Like they'll go ahead and send you a direct message through any social media platform or Discord or email and say, oh, we're from the Swanky Space Squad collection. We're here to help you get the early mint or the special prize. Give us your password and we'll sign you up. And they want your password, your name. They want you to connect your wallet to a fake site where they can hack into you. So it's really kind of like an old version of the old Nigerian prince scam, where if you send them $100, they'll send you $7 million back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want to get into your bank account. They want to get into your crypto accounts. They want to really, and they look really sophisticated. I'll give you an example. I was actually just scammed 2 days ago. And you would think, wow, with all that, how would I get scammed? So Ready for this one? I offer my community giveaways. Like for instance, whoever wins the best fan art, maybe we'll give them $50 because they have a fan art competition. We had a competitor named Miss Lacey. Well, she won the fan art competition, and then right away, Miss Lacey direct messaged me outside and said, "Hey, this is my ETH address. Thank you so much. I won." I looked at the name and I fired out the money, $50. And then I said, wait a second, Miss Lacey is in Singapore. Shouldn't she be sleeping? So I went on my server, checked, and she was offline. But a fake Miss Lacey popped on up. And you know what they do? They can change the name. What looks like an L, a capital I.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So L, capital I, looked like Miss Lacey. They changed it around. They can make it, and I fired it off to the wrong. So people do everything they can to impersonate people. And to that end, trust me, we end up kicking some people out of our Discord because that meant someone in there was, learning. But I mean, you just have to be really careful. And I consider myself uber careful. And look, I was fooled myself. So you have to be extra due diligence. And if you're going to send money or something somewhere, maybe send $1 first to verify that it's the right person before you send more money.
Yeah. I love that you said that.
So great.
And I think it's, it's not, and it's just about being aware of things, right? There's all this kind of stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
Not just in the NFT space. So it's just about being like careful, being aware, just like anything else. So a friendly reminder, whether it's this space or any other space, but I appreciate you sharing that and being transparent about all of that. That's important. And that's what matters. And as we start to, we're concluding now, but I also want to just remind our folks about the upcoming dates. If there's any dates that people should be aware about, to save those dates in regards to this NFT project that we talked about.
Sure. So we're going to mint the Genesis collection in June. And like all the good projects, we're going to keep the exact date of minting secret, but it'll be in June. And we want to kind of get everyone a little excited about it. And then we'll launch that in June. And again, if you want to learn more, please go on our website, join the Discord. We welcome you. You guys are in it. I mean, who wouldn't want to talk with you guys? I mean, that's a win right there.
Totally.
No, so awesome. No, thank you so much, Charles, for being on the show. And again, thank you for your authenticity and your transparency and your knowledge, right? Sharing, you shared so much wisdom and knowledge on here. And for anyone who is either just getting into this space or if you know someone that you're like, man, I need to share this episode with them because I know, maybe you guys have talked about some of the things we talked about, being scared of what's coming or not being aware. And I think the only times we're scared of things is because we just don't know what we don't know. And as soon as you can lean into that and say, okay, I don't need to be scared of this change or this evolution, I can just get curious about it. That's why our tagline at Relationship Renegades is seek to understand, because we feel so passionate about, like, when you come from that mentality, man, life gets a whole lot more fun because you're just living from curiosity. And that is literally a superpower. When we were kids, we're curious about everything. We're like, how does that work? Why does it do that way? Is we can continue to take that mentality into our adult life, man, it's way more fun, and you get to explore and experience so many more things. And so, Charles, as we wrap up this episode, is there any final words that you would like to share with our audience? Anything that you would love them to know about you, about Swanky Space Squad, about what's coming in the future? Any inspirational words or anything that you would want to leave our audience with?
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a real pleasure. I love talking to you guys, and I hope that your audience will enjoy this experience as much as I have. And I'll just say I'm so grateful to be here. And if anyone has any questions, well, you'll be on the Discord, I'll be on the Discord, and I look forward to meeting some awesome people from your community. So thank you.
Awesome.
Amazing. Well, there's Charles Butler, everybody, the dreamer, doctor, and diamond dealer.
Yes.
And hopefully I can start saying Swanky Space Squad really fast.
Swanky Space Squad.
Swanky Space Squad.
I want to win the competition. He's doing a competition of who can say the name fastest the most. So I'm gonna win that.
I love it, guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Charles, and thank you for everyone listening. Again, we love you guys. Remember to keep seeking to understand, and creating the love and lifestyle that you've always wanted. And we're here to help. So we will see you on the next episode.
Love you all.